We're live. Hit it.
All right.
Hey, welcome everyone to another edition of the Friday Nooner. I'm Pete McIntyre, the managing editor of Grep Beat. And with me, as always, the Grep Beat godfather himself, Joe Colby. Joe, how are you?
I'm good. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
There we go.
Later, we're going to have a guest, Louis Sheats, who is the executive director of the NC State Entrepreneurship Clinic. Entrepreneurship Czar is really what I call him. But he'll be here a little later. Until then, you're just stuck with the two of us, right? Is that
That's a good thing. And you'll note, Pete, that I'm actually on the left side today, which means I actually joined this stream before you. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually. Yeah, I'm not kind of liking that now. Now that I realize that, I didn't know that's how you got on the left. I thought maybe you switch because you were saying how it puts the wrong hands or it makes it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to switch it. Maybe I could drag and drop. Oh, wait.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Order
all is right
restored.
In the world.
Yeah, this is much better because this is a more dominant.
Yeah.
I think this is where the action happens. Now, I don't know if you noticed, I have a new background today.
I did notice, yes. Maybe
well, yeah, because you actually told me you didn't like where I was last week, so that's why I'm in the new background. But I'm down in the first floor of Colby Ventures World Headquarters and such. If you can sort of see behind me, that's the street. So it's Paris Street. So kind of like in the Today Show when people bang on the door or outside in the shot, it could be like that. If
you have an additional layer there.
Yeah, that's true. I'm protected from them. I actually used
too close to people.
When I used to walk to work when I was at Sports Illustrated, one of the places I lived, I would cut through that through where the Today Show was filmed, and it would be frankly annoying if they'd have a band or something in the summer, and there'd be a big crowd. It's like, come on, I'm just trying to get to work. Get out of the way. The tree's not even here yet. Come back when the Christmas tree is here, then at least you expect it to be.
Sounds like a born and bred New Yorker really being courteous.
To stop walking around looking up, move. You're on the sidewalk, move. People have places to go.
Great. Thanks for moving North Carolina.
Now we're here and bringing all the traffic and New York sports teams and unfriendliness. What else is it? What's the book on New Yorkers down here?
What?
I know we're not super popular because anytime you ever see a story in say on TechWire, I sometimes read the comments, and 90% of anything that has something about hey, and new jobs are coming here. They're like, why do we want all these people from New York, New Jersey ruining things? It's like, all right.
Well, I think in the Independent, which is kind of a local, socially conscious print magazine in Durham and Raleigh, actually, there was an article about commenting on the Durham or the Google up to 1,000-person expansion, and a lot of the comments were about the rising home prices in the whole triangle, and it's very true. It's kind of unfortunately the byproduct of a growing area. I think it's compounded though the fact that real estate's really, really tight right now. There's been a lot of supply chain challenges in manufacturing new homes in an area that's already growing. So apparently it's kind of crazy to kind of find a new house in this area. So that just is going to drive prices even further up. We'll see.
That's true. Yeah. All right. So what are some things going on this week? I can tell you some things going on this week. Number one, March Madness. I know you've been following that. We are at the final four score because our new sponsor of March Madness, Fourscore Business Law, our friend Jesse Jones, even though Jesse has made some of the all-time worst guesses in the early Where's Pete guesses. You actually said that's like the worst guess.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. It was something in Durham. It was like maybe it might have been BU, and I don't know what he guessed. Something in Raleigh. It was a pretty bad guess. And then he actually, well, I don't want to spoil it. We may talk a little bit more about Jesse's. It became a team guessing Where's Pete. But at any rate, they are sponsoring, and that's why we did call it the Final Four Score. And we're in the middle of it, and it's very heated competition. I just checked, and one of the two semifinals is neck and neck between Morning Times and Raleigh and Google Hof, which
German
is
bakery.
Perhaps unhappy to be placed in the burbs category because there were just too many in downtown Durham. I know you had an issue.
I do. I still have an issue,
but it can face a downtown Durham, and I will say in the other semifinal, Coco Cinnamon is cleaning up at the moment. It's dominating La Farm. So, but there's still the polls are open until Monday at noon. So especially if you have any dog in the fight of Morning Times versus Google Huff, you're going to want to weigh in there. Do you have have you voted?
I have voted. I've voted several times. I vote early and often.
Okay.
So I voted, I think I was going for, I want an all Durham final. So I'm pretty much voting for Google Hoff, and then I think is it Coco Cinnamon is the other one?
Coco Cinnamon is the other.
Versus La Farm, or I don't remember.
La Farm, La Farm. But La Farm is going to have a location in RDU Airport. So I don't know. Maybe we can visit that at some point.
So so that's very exciting. But what is actually happening in the world of kind of tech news?
Okay. outside of I think March Magnus is technically.
And by the way, we don't have a lot of comments today. We don't have a lot of other people chiming in. It's kind of
that's true. We appreciate comments, if only so we don't have to talk to each other.
Well, I didn't try particularly hard to get the word out this time. I know you guys put things out on LinkedIn and Twitter, but often I'll chime in, and I think I'm the one who kind of pushes it over the top.
Oh, you feel like you're the one. So why didn't you don't feel like hooking us up this time?
Yeah, I was just busy with other things.
Okay.
I got these. I was really hungry, so I've been eating. They are not a sponsor, but if they were to sponsor us, we would. I'm eating.
Is it 280 calories or 230?
Well, I don't know.
I've looked recently.
230.
230.
But it's unclear. That's an amount per serving, and so I think that's.
No,
230 per biscuit.
No way. It's not like no. It's not 230 per biscuit. There's 4 of them, and we'll have to talk off camera because that's really going to mess up my whole calorie counting system. But okay, so Venture Connect was, I think, sort of the biggest thing going on this week. It finished yesterday. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Still all virtual again for the second year in a row. Unfortunately, hopefully the last year that will be all virtual, though they might still keep some elements of there so people from different parts of the country can do it. We had 2 stories, I guess. We had a story yesterday on the first 2 days, and then one we published this morning on the third day. I know Jason Kaplan led a session and some VC talk. So this was a big week for Bull City Venture Partners in GrepBeat. I think a lot of people say, why do we favor Bull City Venture Partners? And I say we don't. We treat all the local, but that's what some people say. But we don't play any favorites. But David Jones, the other managing partner, was the download this week. So did you Venture Connect? Were you able to catch?
No, I wasn't able to catch, but you can watch it after the fact. So I was going to catch up on some of the sessions.
You can indeed. That is one of the benefits of it being online. You can watch. It's much like the Friday nooner. People can watch it after.
But overall, having the real benefit, I think, of those conferences, it's just a vehicle to meet in person a lot of people at one time, and so even more than the sessions. And so I think everyone looks forward to. When they go back in person, they're really great networking events. So, and I think that
Right.
is by far the most
I
beneficial.
mean, I know they tried hard on that. On the platform, you could sort of set up a personal chat on the platform pretty easily. And so hopefully people took advantage of that.
You do what you can, but it's not the same.
Right. So. No, life is not the same. But there's this pandemic, which hopefully, actually, there was some news yesterday that North Carolina has sort of moved up the dates as to when it's going to be a free-for-all. And so total free-for-all for 16 and over starting April 7th. So we can say that's good, right?
Yeah, it is good.
I'm excited.
It's good to see North Carolina get more ambitious. Although I think in general, the vaccination rollout has gone pretty well, much better than the COVID testing and
yes,
the whole prevention side, certainly on the early side. So that's
yes, it has been a strong spot. So that's good. So another thing that was in yesterday's newsletter, which I'm sure you read and everyone listening and watching has read. Yeah. Sometimes I put things just about you just to see in case you read, but
I always notice them.
But I did mention you yesterday because there was a TBJ story this week. A company Ignite, which is based in Silicon Valley, but they have a pretty big Raleigh presence.
They used to be a Bronto customer too.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay. I know they're a software company. I honestly don't know.
I'm trying to remember too. If I remember back in the day, and I could be 100% wrong about this.
That's fine. It doesn't matter.
I thought they were, online file sharing. So like a Dropbox, but more secure and different.
All right. Fair enough. But their CEO announced that he was going to install basically a gender quota for hiring because they weren't hitting the gender diversity numbers that they were hoping, and that didn't seem to be working even with their best efforts. And so they thought a more metric-based approach, the same approach they might take in a lot of things. And obviously that, in the word quota, is pretty weighted. People have different views. And I know you jumped in and said something in regards to this story, right?
I did.
Why don't you tell us, Joe, what that was?
All I'm saying is it's important for tech leaders to look at not just the overall mix of genders, but to look by teams, because you can have an overall average that looks maybe not great, but okay, or within a certain number. But then if you look at it by team, it can vary quite widely. So in software companies, if as a larger software company, if, for example, you look in teams like HR, it can often be heavily female, even finance and accounting can be. But then if you look in software engineering, it can be often heavily male. And so that's pretty much what we just found out at Bronto when we went through this process. The first step was we just had a company directory called Bronto Faces that we just started putting out the percentages by team without commentary. And it was pretty obvious that there were some pretty stark differences. Overall, I think the company was like 1/3, maybe more than a third, maybe 40% female, 60% male, which is obviously not 50-50, but not horrible. I mean, UNC is
for tech, that's
probably 60% female, 40% male, actually, as a school. So
really,
it's definitely skewed female. But if you look at broken by team, engineering was, I don't know, 95% plus male. And then you had these other teams that kind of weighed it out. And so we started being a lot more deliberate in our hiring. It's not really about quotas overall. It was more about making sure that we're looking at enough qualified candidates and making, because the challenge is when people hire, it often goes down the route. It's like, we want to hire people like us. And that often unintentionally can be coded message to people who look like them, whether it's race, gender, whatever. And so you need to kind of really be very deliberate to break that mold, because often the easiest path is just to continue doing what they're doing. They're not deliberately trying to not hire females or not hire people of different colors, but they're taking the path of least resistance. And often the path of least resistance is just do more of the same. And if you're not very careful, that can lead to a problems. That also means that if you're not very careful and you do hire people of different genders and races and mix it up, if the culture is so sided one way, those people don't stay because it doesn't feel like a very supportive environment.
Right.
They feel so, which just
hiring
often
just half the
perpetuates
battle,
the
right?
imbalance. And so it is important for a leader to be deliberate on that and deliberate on it from the get-go and kind of put their thumb on the scale to make sure they stay within a healthy place. Because if they don't, it really can get away from you. So, and that is.
Would you? I mean, it sounds like you didn't ever do sort of a formal quota, but is that something you could see being beneficial? It's like, hey, we're not, we're not at least 35% or something in this segment.
Wrong. I don't know whether you do a formal quota or you just make very deliberate pushes for it, right? On the interview side. You also could do things like on the interview side, it's like, listen, when we look for any role, we're obviously going to hire the best candidate. But when we look at 10 candidates, 5 of them are going to be female, and this percent is going to be of people of color or whatever. And so it tends to be more of an issue in that the pool of candidates all tend to be one style. So anyways, I want to just chime in. Chantal, she said women rule, and they do. She also said,
I mean, at least 52% of the population would agree with that.
She also said, we're sounding good, guys. And so since women rule and we're getting a shout out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good accomplishment, given our gender and what we have to do.
I would, Grep Beat interns, I think have been like 80+% women over the years.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you look at so they all do come to the UNC School of Journalism or Hussman School of Journalism. And if you looked at the gender distribution within that school, I wonder if that's 50-50 or if it's skews one way. I don't know. But either way,
it would be at least 60-40, and then maybe more.
I think it all starts with awareness. And so the fact that the CEO of that software company is bringing awareness to it within their own organization and highlighting that and make some deliberate changes. I think that's great and that's important. Whether that actually means mandating a specific quota, I don't know. I found having the organization often is reflective of the personality and priorities of the leaders. So if you can drive that as a leader, and particularly if you're CEO, that will have an impact. So hopefully we'll see. Oh, but Chantal says it. I assume she says she's referring to school.
She teaches at UNC School of Journalism, or she has in the past.
Yeah,
I imagine she can chime in whether she has or not.
On the flip side,
Chantal, of course, TechWire and Hypopotamus.
Hype for short. Right? That's what.
Hype. I mean, its friends call it Hype, but Atlanta-based, but covered here.
So. Anyways, I think it's good to be conscious of it, and it can really skew. When I was studying computer science, it's since gotten better, but the ratio of female to male to female was like 16-1. And so even though overall college was roughly 50-50, it skewed heavily within majors too. And so if you have all those CS majors being male, just earlier in the pipe, it's going to be harder to hire female software engineers.
Right.
But that's changing. And so now I think we're starting to see healthier distributions, but still not.
I remember Vicki Gibbs, who is next week's guest, but she said when she was at Duke in undergrad in computer science or engineering, it was like 45-2 or something.
Could be
absurd.
So I think Chantal also brings up a good point. Is it's helpful having women in leadership roles to attract a mentor. So I think there's two interesting dimensions here. One, as a leader, I underestimated the value in having leaders that were not leaders that were different genders, but let's say female leaders. But I underestimated how much that it was important to other people to see that symbolically. and how that was quite inspiring, which comes into, if you're not the minority in however you kind of cut it, you get used to seeing other people in senior roles who look and act like you. And it's really hard to step out of that shell and realize how important that is. And so particularly at Bronto, when we had some leaders that were on the sales side that, and that just happened to be female, I had a number of people approach me after the fact saying, geez, how important that is, not just in active ways as a mentor, but also just in passive ways, in being a supportive environment of that. And all those people did a great job too. So I think it's extremely important. I think I think as male leaders, we tend to underestimate it until we're exposed to that in a more of a real way. So I think 100%, 110%, I think she's right on the money. So, and a lot of people talk a big game, but it's really about putting your money and your actions and your hiring and recruiting where your mouth is. So it makes a difference.
All right. See, I would add our guest right now, Louis Sheats, but I don't see him in the green room. He was here before. So, okay. All right. Okay. He wants to come back. So Louis Sheats, again, he's the executive director of the NC State Entrepreneurship Clinic, and we're going to let him tell us what that means. Louis, there you are. Where'd you go?
Hey, Joe. I just turned my camera off so you couldn't watch me. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Were you doing anything that we might have been interested in seeing, or what?
I'm doing the crosswords. So.
All right. Fair enough. Hopefully that's coming along well.
I meant to say I was listening intently to you two talk, and that's
right. Yeah. Okay. So what do you do?
What do
as the head of the
I wear a lot of hats. I'm a professor in the business school at NC State, where I've taught actually all the undergraduate courses I've taught at some point in entrepreneurship. I also run the Entrepreneurship Clinic, which is part of our pedagogy, but it's a university-wide approach to bring students through this experiential learning process. It's the hospital teaching model applied to entrepreneurship education. And another way to address what you guys were talking about earlier, the discrepancy between male and female and other underrepresented groups, we use the clinic as a model to bring in females and those other groups into our program that are typically not in certain disciplines, like you mentioned, computer science, engineering, or others. For us, agriculture would be another big one. And then I also play a role at the assistant vice provost level, again, connecting students across campus, connecting faculty, and connecting programs so we can build a stronger ecosystem of entrepreneurship at NC State.
And you guys have tried hard also to bring in, I mean, you have a lot of different schools on the undergraduate and graduate. You mentioned agriculture and textiles, and the way that some of those can come together for startups that maybe are different than some of the other schools in this area.
Yeah, the clinic is really about creating this cross-discipline approach and environment for students. So, for example, our capstone class it's 2 classes that meet at the same time, where of the total number, about 30% of them are coming from engineering, 30% are coming from the business school, and the other 40% are coming from the College of Agriculture, textiles, design, vet med, CHAS, history majors, English majors. So we're really trying to create a unique environment for our students to learn and work together.
The Andrews Accelerator, is that kicking off again?
So we run the accelerator every summer. Applications are being accepted through April 16th this year. The accelerator was funded and kicked off by a generous gift by Lynn and Chip Andrews, where we can give money to startups or founders that are either juniors or seniors, undergrads, graduate students, or alumni within the past 3 years of graduation. And it's essentially a grant. It's equity-free money, $5,000 to $25,000. Then they go through the accelerator. the money really just serves as a friends and family round, if you will, and the accelerator gets them ready for investors, or gets them to the kill switch. We're trying to give them as much gray hair experience as possible through that 3-month process, that either they pivot, they kill it, or they move forward, and now we're ready to raise money if needed for the concept. So we'll be doing that again starting in May. Yep.
Cool. Hey, so Lewis, have there been some local startups that we know that have kind of come out of some of your programs in kind of recent years? And
yeah, probably, locally, probably there's a lot of them, but Second Nature, formerly Filter Easies,
sure.
Thad and Kevin came through our program. Some of the younger ones, Simply Works, which is the up and coming software for online selling, is right at the verge of the hockey stick. And then we have a lot of
Ava Labs.
Yeah, Ava Labs is one. Yeah, but we also have a lot of non-tech companies that come out too. So Arepa Culture out. There's started as a food truck. Now they have a full service Crank Arm Brewery. We have a distillery in the western part of the state. My motto and sort of model has always been, especially on the undergraduate side, is we really focus on developing the student, not necessarily the concept.
Sure.
Most students aren't really ready to launch a company at 22, but whenever that aha moment happens, we want them to be ready for that. So it's more about, how do we create this valuable student that goes to join a company like Bronto, for example, or a 2-person startup. Maybe it's not their idea, or they are the lead entrepreneur. We can put them in all of those different positions and have them prepared and ready for that.
Yeah. Well, one way I always looked at it is when they talk about, like, it's a little bit different, but liberal arts education, the idea is the world's going to change, but it's teaching you kind of a way of thinking about things. And I think the entrepreneurial mindset is a way of looking at business and making something happen that's different than traditional business education, which often is about more resource allocation, and the traditional MBA is often about this, but entrepreneurial thinking it's kind of a different approach. And so if the students can get some practice at it and some exposure to it and just some sense of how the world even looks when they're undergrads, 5-10 years later or whatever, when they're in a different position or they see a particular opportunity, it's not the first time at the rodeo.
Yeah. I mean, you nailed it, Joe. Like it really is about a mindset and a way of thinking. And that's why it's so important to be able to apply it to all the different disciplines, whether you're a business student or an engineering student. Having this mindset can create a differentiator for you when you're going to apply for that job or launching your own company and pitching to investors. And we see it as a practice, right? And that's why we took this hospital teaching model approach. We want students to experience before they get out from underneath the umbrella, where we can help mitigate their risk, right? They're still, either living on mom and dad or scholarships or funding. And in that environment, they have much less to risk. We can take them through those processes. And so when they are ready, they've already been through it before, and we can eliminate some of the premature gray that happens to entrepreneurs.
Why are we talking so much about gray hair?
Hey, I think Pete and I, even more so, Pete, will take whatever hair. Like, anything we'll do.
I enjoyed more so, Pete. Like,
let's be real, Pete.
That's why I don't think it has to be said. Like, why do we need to be pointing fingers? Yeah. All right.
But I would say, Lewis, look at his.
All right, that's enough time. We're gonna have to go now.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
What's going on? But hey, so look, one thing I was the other day I was talking to Pete about is we were talking about the local universities and entrepreneurial programs, and I'm more familiar with UNC because I went to business school there many moons ago, but was really impressed how in, last 5-10 years, particularly 10 years, like NC State, the entrepreneurship program and what I hear you guys doing, the activity is been really good. So it's exciting to kind of see where that program continues to go, that there's a lot of exciting things going on there. And it's like you're a big part of it. So
Yeah, appreciate it, Joe. We also take this approach, like, bringing up UNC. I wore my state shirt just in case you wore that Carolina hat you normally wear, but
I don't have it. I gotta look around.
It's all right. You don't need to get it. We're good. But we have always taken this, or not always, but we've definitely have embraced this approach of collaboration, right? So we recognize UNC's got strengths that state doesn't have, the law school, for example. So we partner and work collaboratively with the law school, or East Carolina in the reach for the eastern part of the state, or St. Augustine's or Shaw University.
Yeah.
Campbell Law. Like, we're always looking for, how do we build a stronger ecosystem by using the strengths of the universities that we already have? How do we make sure that we're making those connections?
I have a question. How hard was it to carry Jesse Jones in Where's Pete? Because he was terrible, and then somehow you teamed up with him to guess, and you actually knew where the coffee shops were. What was he bringing to the table?
He co-opted your success, which is sad.
I love Jesse, but he was really bad at it. I would, yes, he was. But Jesse and I used to go to the gym together every morning, and for some reason we talk about Pete often, and we talk about these.
As one does. Sure.
Not really. I don't.
Yeah. Luckily, I get to meet a lot of people in a lot of coffee shops, and so it was a little easier for me to recall where you might be.
You actually took a picture. The one in Dairy Chocolate. Maybe that's why it made the Elite Eight, because it was such a fine. It was one of only 2 pictures where I was not wearing a Greppy shirt, because I just happened to be meeting you.
That's right.
And I didn't have my shirt with me, so we took a picture.
Yeah.
Usually the story's behind the brackets.
The story behind the story.
I'm glad I finally got photo cred for that. I never saw it in any of the articles. But
we don't really give that credit. That's really not our thing. But your wife has also won. So I think you are the only husband-wife team to win Where's Pete. There's been another winner, a husband-wife team that have won various things.
Yeah.
Amy Lanane, who's now at Duke, and before that was at UNC, was at Launch Chapel Hill. She won when we had briefly sort of the trivia questions, and her husband, who has a startup, he's won Where's Pete.
Can we get a plaque for that? Can I get one made up or something?
Maybe. I talked to the sponsor of March Magnus, who happens to be Jesse Jones of Fourscore. So actually, we probably should make a plaque, not for you, but for the winning coffee shop. Yeah. And maybe whoever was the winner when that shop was in Where's Pete. We have a lot of ideas. Most of them are Joe's, but
I like the connection. Yeah. It's good.
All right, I think
we're about time.
Yeah. Oh, that was just, I thought you were going to say you had one last thing to say, but no, you just want to tell me it's about time. All right. It's true. So it's time. So that means you play the outro.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Here we go.
That's it. Bye, everyone.